So here's the mower from my last update video. Unfortunately, this thing just has too many things that have gone wrong with it to make it worth saving at least this engine that's on it. So I have this one here, which does need a few things done to it. Namely, I'm going to put, actually this pull cord isn't too bad. I might just leave that one on there. But it does need an oil change, which the oil in this one is brand new. So other than that, I don't know what kind of shape the blade is in. It's actually not in too bad a condition either. So this might actually work out. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to do is remove the air filter box. And just to show you guys, the tank is in fact bone dry. No fuel in it at all. So that's a good thing. It means we're not going to have to deal with old stale fuel. Can't say the same for the carburetor, but hopefully we'll be good enough to get it going. If I need to, the carburetor on this one has been freshly cleaned, so I might just use the one off of that if I have to. Air filter could do to be replaced, just like on all Briggs & Strattons. These styles, you have these 3 bolts. Yeah, it definitely needs to be cleaned. But like I said, I'm just going to throw the other carburetor on because I know it's good, so I'm not even going to worry about that just now. But in order to remove these, we'll have to back off this green clamp. I'll bring it back to about here. This fuel line actually still feels really good, so I'm not going to change it. And then you have the 2 bolts that hold the carb onto the side of the cylinder, and then the linkage at the top. Alright, so I'm getting ready to drain all the old oil out of this lawnmower, and I don't know how well you guys can see it. Let me move the blade around. But you'll see there's a small drain plug right there. And all you're going to need is a 3/8" ratchet. And now I'm just going to undo it the rest of the way by hand. So I think that's been sufficiently drained. And we're just going to tighten her back up. That's probably good. So now just to fill her up with oil, and we're going to throw some gas in her, see what happens. So these Briggs & Strattons take about 20 ounces or so of oil. And what I like to do is just get a big funnel. I have it all measured out. I did put a little bit of additive in this Lucas heavy duty oil stabilizer. I've had decent luck with it, especially on older equipment like this. And we'll just let it drain. Give it a little bit and we'll be right back. Alright, so while the rest of that is still draining, there's not much left. But I did elect to install a new gasket, and I installed a new primer bulb. Here's the old one, so that's trash. First, make sure to not forget your fuel clamp, or else you'll have a leaking situation with fuel. And these sometimes I like to just put on hand tight. So you just want to be really careful. There actually is a torque for that. I don't remember what it is offhand, but it's really... So now I'm going to get it off of the Redneck lawnmower jack and put some gas in it, see what we can get it to do. Alright, so let's see what happens. I've not tried to start this thing yet. Primer's working. So I didn't elect to clean any of the fuel out of that carb that I had already cleaned. So it's possible that it's only surging like that because some of that fuel in there is a little stale. That's okay. Once it goes through all that, the fresh gas in the tank will be fine. But stay tuned for part 2. Should have it running pretty good in the next video and hopefully pretty well cleaned up. I might even have a newer beauty cover for it too. It's not as bad as this one. So stay tuned for more.